Good morning, everybody. Denise with Lazy K Homestead. Well, today is day 15 for the countdown to Christmas. I'm going to do a really special cookie today. It's an Italian Christmas cookie. It's a really pretty cookie. It's white with sprinkles, let me see, on the top. It also has a thick glaze with powdered sugar, and it's really yummy. If you've ever been to an authentic Italian bakery, you'll find these cookies. And I think you'll find them almost all year round, but just not with the Christmas sprinkles, but they have the multicolor sprinkles. It's really a tasty treat. That's one of the things I loved about going up to Boston and Massachusetts. Everywhere you went, there was an authentic Italian bakery. A lot of ethnic bakeries up there too. So it was always a real treat to just walk in and see the different things that people make in the different cultures. I always appreciated that because I love to learn. You know, you're never too old to learn. So, and explore new things. So let me get started. I'm going to go ahead and put the tripod down as usual. So I'll be right back. Now, as usual, these are recipes for Christmas cookies I haven't made in a year. So it's always fun to come back and reread the recipe and think, oh yeah, that's how you do this. This is made in a very traditional Italian way. You don't use a mixer, you use a bowl, and I'll show you exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and sift in 4 cups of all-purpose flour. My sifter's a little bit small. I know. I remember the big ones that used to be able to get, but I couldn't find any. Now we're also going to put let me see, just make sure here, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. 1 level tablespoon. I'm going to go ahead and put that right on top of that flour. And I believe that is all that I'm going to. Oh, and it says combine the sugar. So first let me go ahead and sift what I've got here. All right. I'm kind of halfway through that. And you're going to add 1 cup of sugar. So let me get this in here. Just to the point where I can add the little bit left of my flour. Again, that's 4 cups all-purpose. And 1 cup of white sugar. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that on top there. You see that? And we're just going ahead and sift that through. And I'll take a fork and just kind of whisk through with that fork and just make sure it's all nicely well blended. Okay. Let me grab a fork real fast. Wasn't thinking that my sifter wasn't big enough. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to make a well in the middle of all this flour, sugar, and baking powder. Basically what you're doing is you're just kind of making a little hole. That's what they call a well. If you've ever made homemade pasta, you do this same type of mixing when you're making pasta too. Making the well. Okay, so in that well, we are going to add the oil, milk, and I'm going to add vanilla extract because my gang doesn't like almond. Traditionally, this is almond extract or lemon extract. Okay, so let's add our milk right into that well. And that was a 1/2 cup of milk, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now I'm reading this recipe as I go along because like I said, it's been a year. I'm going to go ahead and pour that right in that well. And then we've got 2 whole eggs. And I'm just going to kind of scramble them a little bit before I pour them in there. All right, and that goes in that well. All right, there we go. My Italian ancestors will be proud of me today. We have a little bit of Italian in us. Dad had Swiss Italian on his great-grandfather's side. So we have just a little teeny bit, but I claim it. My grandmother and my great-grandmother, they all spoke Italian. Dad spoke some. So we're just going to go ahead and blend this with a wooden spoon. Now that's what my recipe has always called for. And this recipe is from Dad. And I assume he got it from his grandma, who was my great-grandma, and we called her Ma. She had the Italian. Like I had told y'all in previous videos, that part of my family were migrant workers in California, and they worked in Napa, and they all spoke Italian. I wish I did. I do not. I love languages. So what I'm doing, you can see I'm blending this. I'm just kind of turning my bowl and blending more. I guess you'd say I'm folding it more than blending, but it is becoming a nice dough. This is the traditional way that I was taught. There may be some Italian people out there going, oh, no, but I'm sorry, that's how Dad did it. My grandmother's maiden name was Glazing. Funny story. Hope y'all don't mind my stories. When my great-grandfather came over, immigrated through Canada with his wife, their name were Fred and Ethel. So get that. So anyway, that's funny right there to me, because I was a I Love Lucy watcher. Well, anyway, they came and immigrated. Now, this is back in the day when you could do this, and a lot of people did. They changed their name from Glazing to Clacy. So for years, Dad thought that they were Irish. Nope. Thank you, Ancestry.com. So they did that because when they immigrated, they came through Minnesota, and because of the town that they were in, the village, they wanted to be more, I guess, acclimate to that town, which was German Dutch, and I guess Irish were accepted more. So anyways, I love my family history. Okay, so here we go. We've got this all well mixed. It's kind of a sticky dough, but you can handle it. And what we're going to do is we're going to you can use a cookie, like a ice cream scoop, a 1-inch, or a cookie scoop. I don't have one, so I'm going to use this 1-inch. It's it's pretty deep. And this is a 1 tablespoon measure. I'm going to use this. So let me get my cookie sheet over here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to take out one. It does work better if you have a cookie press. Or not a cookie press, a cookie scoop. But I'm just going to go, and you're just going to go ahead and you're going to put that, let's see if you can see that better. There you go. That little dollop. And you're just going to go and just fill your, and you see, we just do that. They're nicely rounded, but after I'm through, what you do is you go and you just kind of tap them down a little bit on top, flatten them a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this. It's so nice to make these cookies. I think of Dad. Think of my great-grandmother. I only met her once. She was a quilter. I wish I had been able to know more of her, but she passed away when I was 10, and I used to sit at her feet, and she would let me cut some of the quilt pieces out for her. She was definitely the matriarch of the family back in those days. Okay, so I've got this cookie sheet filled with cookies, so that's 12. So you're just going to go with the back of your cookie scoop, or in my case, this, and you're just going to press down, just like that, like so. Now, if you want to, you can make your cookie a little bit like press in so you don't have all these ragged edges. I think that's what I'm going to do, because you want it to be a really pretty cookie. And again, it's because I don't have a cookie scoop and I need to get one. I don't know where mine is. I know I had one, but I will definitely find one before next year, because this is a cookie I like. Okay, I've got my oven preheated at 375, and these cookies are going to cook for 8 to 10 minutes. They will not brown. They're going to stay white. And let's go ahead and put them in that oven, and I will be back. Okay, I've got all the cookies baked. Here they are. Little golden brown on the bottom. Well, we're going to make the glaze now. So what we need, and I'll go ahead and put this down so you can see what I'm doing. We need 3 cups of powdered sugar, and we need to sift that. And we're also going to need 1 tablespoon of hot water. And I did find some extract in the house, and it's peppermint. So I thought, well, that would be kind of good just for the glaze. Christmassy. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. The cookie had almond in it. And in case you guys didn't see me put the almond in my cookie, it's because I had put the teaspoon of almond extract in with my eggs prior, and I forgot to mention that. Okay, so there's that. 3 cups powdered sugar. We're going to go ahead and put in, now this calls for 1 tablespoon of extract, and I am not going to put that much in because peppermint is really strong. So I am going to go ahead and start with 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint. I wish I would have found lemon or something, but I didn't have that. I've got another cookie that I'm going to be using peppermint with. So, sorry that I'm going to have 2 peppermint things, but they'll be good. They'll be chocolate and peppermint. Okay, so we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of hot water. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is going to be a very thick glaze. And I'm going to go ahead and mix that and see how that goes. It's going to be almost like molasses. Yeah, I'm going to need some more. So let me go by teaspoon rather, and see how that goes. But it was 1.5 tablespoons first. And I am going to taste it after it gets to the point that it's actually a glaze, to see if I need some more peppermint. But from what it smells like, I don't think so. Okay. We're getting there. I think I'm going to need 1 more teaspoon. I am at a high altitude up here in the mountains, and a lot of times that does make a difference for me. So if you guys make this glaze, start with 1.5 tablespoons of hot water, and then go from there. As you can see, I'm putting quite a lot of hot water in here. I would imagine that'll probably get it. Yeah, that looks better. It's really thick. Okay. And we're going to double glaze these cookies. Let me just taste this real fast. Oh, yeah. That 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint was just enough, because, you know, peppermint's pretty strong. I love it, especially at Christmas. All right. Go ahead and get that off my whisk. Put it in the sink. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we've got sprinkles ready. These are just the little, oh, I forget what they call these. This is called the Jingle Sprinkles, Betty Crocker. And what you do first is you take each cookie and you just dip it. Well, you know what? I'm going to need one more teaspoon of hot water because that really got stiff really fast. So let me just use a fork because you do want it to be glaze your cookie. Wow. There we go. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's better. All right. Keep that back here just in case. So you want to take each cookie and you're going to dip it and put it over here on your cooling rack. These cookies are cooled so I can handle them. And what we're going to do is let this icing or glaze set, and then we're going to re-dip them, and then we'll put the sprinkles on. So they're really a pretty cookie. They're a festive cookie. Italian Christmas cookies. Oh my goodness. They are so yummy. But I guess I say that about every cookie, don't I? I love cookies. I always say cookies love me too. Look how pretty they are, just like that, just like snow caps. You guys see that? How pretty. If anybody were to get into baking that's never baked before, this really is an easy cookie. The only thing I'd caution you with this cookie is to make sure that you watch your oven. I ended up cooking these for 6 to 8 minutes. The first batch that I made, they got a little dark on the bottom. I don't know why. I cooked them for 8 minutes. I did the others at 6, so just test your oven. My oven's not that old to be doing something crazy like that. Oops. I miss my dad at Christmas. He was always so much fun. Well, that one is falling apart, so we're just going to have it. Just kind of not wanting to agree with me. Go ahead and put that down there. Wow. It is a very light cookie. If my glaze is starting to harden up, I will add another teaspoon of the hot water. Because you want it nice and thick like molasses, and you can see how thick it is. See how thick that is? And this cookie made approximately 4 dozen. I'm not going to use the ones that got really dark on the bottom, because this is such a light, tender cookie. You don't really want to have any kind of flavor of too done. And I don't think they really got burned. Well, maybe they did. Not really burned in my book, but too dark for this cookie. So I will definitely give those to the chickens, and they will be so happy. I won't put any sprinkles on them. My chickens are so funny. They like to eat anything. They are my garbage pails. I do miss my pigs, though, because they were my real garbage pails. Looking forward to spring. I know Christmas isn't here yet, but we have had the worst storm that started last night here in Tennessee. It is just awful. About 9 o'clock last night, it started with a thunderstorm, and It was so bad I could hardly go to sleep, and I usually can sleep through thunder. Have you guys seen those videos on YouTube where you can have like rain or the rain noise and put you to sleep? Usually that's how it is with just rain for me. I grew up in a farmhouse that we had a tin roof, and even though I haven't lived there for many years, I still remember that very well. And the sound of that tin roof. I don't have a tin roof here. We have shingles. Okay, it's starting to thicken up a little bit, so I'm going to add a little bit more water on here. Just a teeny bit. Get my fork in here. Okay. It may be because my house is a little chilly. I don't have a fire going, but I do have the heat on, and sometimes I keep it at a low temperature when I have to have the central heat because it's just too warm to have a fire, a wood stove going. You just burn up like that. So it is probably 68 in here. So we're getting to the last of these cookies. And by the time I get to this last one, we'll start with that. We'll go ahead and reglaze. And then we'll put the sprinkles on. It's just such a pretty cookie. And something different. Okay, there we go. There's the last one. Okay, so our first glaze has set. See, it's nice and hard. And what we're going to do is just lightly dip it in there, like so, and then dip it in the sprinkles. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. So we're just going to go through all these. That peppermint glaze is really nice, I have to say. I'm really happy that I went ahead and put that there. These just look so festive, man. And I don't even barely have to dip them in that. The sprinkles, they just really pick those sprinkles up. Whoops. Boy, I'm butterfingers today. Sorry about that, guys. But this is the Italian Christmas cookie that I make for our family. And we love it. And I'm not going to make you stay here and watch me dip every one of these. But I will ask you to like, share, and subscribe if you would. If you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you so very much. I appreciate your support and your continued watching of my videos. Me and Willis, we really appreciate it. So you guys, you have a great evening, and tomorrow we'll have something else. You have a great night. Bye.